Good morning, everyone. Chris here from the Dargon Gaming Squad, and I am back on day 14 of the RPG A Day Challenge. We have missed several days. We hit a wall, and we both had a lot going on in our personal lives this weekend. We were both busy with other projects and other things, and just couldn't get to it. But we've also hit a wall where a lot of the questions are things we're just not experienced enough to answer. So I'm going to do my best to fill in the blanks with alternate questions for the last several days and today's question. And I think I actually have something for today's. And then from here on out, I guess we'll pick and choose. There's just not enough alternate questions to cover all the gaps in our experience. So we're just going to hit questions as they apply to us for the rest of the challenge. So unfortunately, we're not going to get to do a video for every day. But anyway, without further ado, so day 11's question was not something that I felt that I could really contribute to. So I am going to do an alternate question for that. And that is, what do you look for in an RPG review? So a few videos back when we talked about where do you go for reviews, I did say that I am not a big one to look for reviews. However, when I do listen to or watch a review, there are some things that I like to know and appreciate. So in addition to whatever is shared in the review, well, I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, one thing I do really appreciate when people do reviews is I like to know if the book covers everything that I need to sit down and play that game. So if I'm getting a core rule book, I want to know, do I also need a game master's guide? I want to know if I need additional materials for playing and everything. Is there, maybe a beginning adventure or a quick start? Is there, I want to know what else I'm going to need. You get the picture. So there is that. I also want to know if the book is laid out in a logical manner. I don't know that would necessarily be a deal breaker if the book didn't make sense in its layout, but it's definitely something I would want to know, and it might affect when I purchase something if I really wanted it, or, I don't know, but it's something nice to know. I like to know, is it laid out logically? Does it really cover everything you need, and whatnot? And I guess beyond that, I'm more interested in what people are saying about the game, whether the person has played it or not, and if they have input, if they've felt inspired to sit right down and set up a session in it. Did they feel it was easy to digest the materials, or did they feel like they were going to need to read it 5 or 6 times before they were going to be able to get it? Some of the crunchier games like Shadowrun, you might feel like it's just not that easy to absorb what you needed. So I'm definitely interested to hear what other people say too. So when it comes to making a purchase based on a review, the review has to be pretty darn outstanding for me to just rush out and buy it because of the review. At least at this point in time, I'm being a little more reserved about what I buy. For the most part, I have so many books now that I haven't read, and I know I have nowhere near the size collection of some people, but I'm trying to be a little more selective and make sure it's something I think I'm really going to have time to sit down and play. And right now, since I'm so busy with deadlines, I can't believe it, I bought Tales from the Loop the other day, but I had a coupon, I had a coupon code from BrigadeCon last year, yay me, and I didn't want it to go to waste, so I finally ordered something, and Tales from the Loop was getting a lot of good feedback, so I went for it. So, on to the day 12 question, and that question is, which RPG has the most inspiring interior art? So, I do have to admit that with this question, I don't again, feel like even though I feel like I have a pretty extensive library for where I'm at, I don't feel like I have an extensive enough library and have spent enough time with those books to answer that question. But I am going to answer it in a different way. So for me, when it comes to inspiration and artwork, I maybe don't look to my books so much, at least not right now. Where I tend to go is Pinterest. And I actually have 2 Pinterest boards. Actually, I have 3 that are all dedicated to gaming, D&D, as I think how they're named. But one is a character inspiration board, and another is locations, etc. Inspiration. And the third one is just general D&D related stuff. So I have, memes and things like that, and there are just things that are cool. But I actually have, on those other two boards, I have, lots and lots of characters that inspire me. I have lots and lots of things like magical items and interesting locations, maps, cities, things maybe even from the real. I have a lot of, castles and things that are real from the real world that I have saved the images of for inspiration for a later game. At some point, clearly, I will be GMing more, because why would I be saving all these things? So that's kind of interesting, because I always think of myself as a player, as you know. So yeah, I look to Pinterest, and so when I sit down to create a new character, I often, if I don't have an idea for a concept already, a lot of times I'll go and I'll look for an image and then try to build around that image. Other times, if I already have a concept, I'll partway through putting that character together, at some point, I'll go and try to find an image that fits what I came up with. So Pinterest is a great place for that. And of course, even like just looking up images on Google, because of course that's where you find some of them and then you pin them. But I find most of mine on Pinterest through the contacts and things that I'm already connected to. So on to day 13 question. And again, I'm going to do an alternate because I just don't feel that I have anything for that. So I am looking at the alternate question: how long does it take to get the most out of a game? And I'm sorry, but I'm going to give you the smart-ass answer. I don't know yet, and I'll let you know when I find out. So again, I don't feel like I've been playing any of these games long enough. In this case, I feel like I'm starting to really get a grasp on 5th edition. I think it's been 2 years now that I've been playing 5th edition pretty regularly. I started out with just a few, one-shots here and there, and then, Nate started the campaign that we're playing in. I think we've been at that one for a year now, just over a year. So we've been playing pretty regularly, and then there's been quite a few one-shots and things since then that I've played. So I do feel pretty good about 5th edition, but there's still so much to learn, and so I don't know that I feel like I think I'm right now starting to hit the point where I'm going to start getting the most out of the game, but I don't know that I've gotten the most out of the game yet. And particularly since there's other ways that D&D can be used. I'm thinking of like Absolute Tabletop's Harbinger that they're working on. That's like a whole different setting for 5th edition, and it's really, really cool. If you haven't had a chance to check it out or get in on the playtest, do that, and definitely look for it when it comes out. But I know there's other things of that nature that people have done with 5th edition as well. So, and obviously I haven't played enough other games. I haven't played much Shadowrun. I haven't even created my own character in Shadowrun yet. So I feel like there's just a big gap there. So when I know. It'll be interesting if this question, I don't know if these questions are always the exact same every year. I know some of them seem familiar from last year. It'll be interesting if this question comes up where how I feel like I want to answer then. And so maybe at some point I'll be able to say, gosh, I think it takes this many sessions. That'd be great. So anyway, last but not least is day 14. And again, I'm going to do an alternate. So I am going to go with, what part or parts of a session do you look forward to the most? So hands down, I look for, I think that my favorite parts of the session are the parts where the team works together to accomplish something. Whether it's having a discussion that comes out in a decision with a plan, or where something great happens. I might need to change my answer now that I think about it. Anyway, I really, really love it when the team comes together. And in particular, in my second edition game, I've had a couple different sessions. We've had quite a few now where our little party has really, really started to jive, and we really have started to have a rhythm and kind of a method for how we tend to approach combats, big combats. We've had some just massive ones, and the teamwork that it takes to get through that, and particularly my wizard character and my friend's druid character, we use our area of effect spells quite well in concert with each other, and so I love those teamwork moments where we not necessarily just combat, but when we really work together to get out of a scrape is one of my favorites. I guess since it can be part or parts of a session, another part I actually really enjoy downtime. I love it when we get to go shopping as a party and role play a little bit with the shopkeepers and, bargain and haggle. I love when we get to have the pressure off and we can just be the family that I feel like a party is typically going to turn into. I'm sure that there are parties that wouldn't happen, but that's definitely one of the parts I really like, is when you're sitting down and you're playing with your friends, and it's really great when your characters become friends too. And downtime to me is one of the times that they do the most bonding. So I love to role play out, cooking meals and sitting down at a table and all, talking about what we need to do next, or just, ribbing each other. It's really another really cool part of the session. And then of course there's the overarching part, which is just getting together with all your friends to play. I love that. And I think I've mentioned many times that my home group and I cook and have a couple meals together when we play, because we play all day when we have a session. And I always just love, we swap recipes, we talk gaming, we talk mechanics. We're getting ready to update to 5th edition, so there's a lot of discussion. I'm the only one who's played any 5th edition, so it's really fun to visit with my DM on that and talk about all those kinds of different things. So that's really great. So that's it. That's days 11 through 14 of RPG a Day, and I hope you've enjoyed this. Like I say, we'll just pop in from here on out on the questions we feel we can answer, but we definitely won't be posting daily at this point, which kind of makes me sad, but that's okay. We'll probably do a recap at the end too. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and until I see you later, get out and get gaming. Bye.